this. This is what people tell me all the time. I'm not fast enough for something, and then put whatever it is you want here, you know, really good tires and tubes and bike fit and race kit and aero helmet and water bottle placement and waxing your chain, or, you know, good bearings or good anything, any like marginal gain sort of thing, or bike equipment or anything. This is what people say. They have this mindset of, I'm not fast enough to justify that. I haven't earned that. That's not for me, it's for somebody else. It's this idea, and I understand the idea, I totally get it. It's this idea that, you know, somehow it's like, oh, if I buy those fancy bearings, or, you know, get that fancy chain, it will know that I'm not worthy to, you know, and it won't work for me. Like, it won't matter, you know, which is just totally ridiculous. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. And from a numbers standpoint, it's totally false. Like, really, like, people should be saying, you should say this: I'm slow enough for, and then whatever it is that you're slow enough for. Because here's the dirty little secret. The slower you go, the longer it takes you to do the bike portion of the race, the more each of these things matter to you. The more it's important. And it's not just me. This is like science. This is like math, and I can prove it. Don't go anywhere. It's not that scary. It's not that scary. This is the equation for frictional force, for things sliding against each other. So this tells me how much force is required for like rolling resistance, or chains like sliding, the plates of the chains like sliding against each other, anything to do with friction. This is what tells me. And all it is just it's some property of the material that's sliding along, you know, sliding next to each other, and how much force is pushing them together, like how stuck together are they. Nowhere in this equation is there a speed or velocity component. So it doesn't matter. It's if you're going 10 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour, the frictional components from your drivetrain or the rolling resistance of the tires on the road, it's all the exact same. It's the same for everybody. So let's look at an example. Let's say you have one rider who rides his half Ironman, his or her half Ironman, at 100 watts. 100 watts average for their half Ironman. And you have, you know, this like uber macho pro guy who's riding like 300 watts for his half Ironman. Well, you might assume that it's like, oh, all of these really fancy things, waxing my chain and all that stuff, like that's for the 300 watt guy. That's not for me because I'm only riding 100 watts. But it actually matters more for it matters more for the 100 watt guy, because it doesn't matter how fast you go. It's the same cost for both of you. So if it takes 10 watts to drive your drivetrain along and the wheels along and the tires on the road and all of that frictional stuff is 10 watts. 10 watts for the 100 watt guy. That's 10% of his overall power. 10% of the energy he's putting into his bike is going to the frictional components. It's 10%. If you go to the 300 watt guy, still 10%, because it doesn't matter how fast I go, now it's 3.3%. So it's way less. It has way less of an impact on him or her than it does for the slower guy. So it matters way more. This proves it. This idea, this math, this physics, it's more important for the people who go slower. So I hope that helps. I hope that's encouraging. If you're one of those people out there that's like, I don't know, I'm not worthy, or you're thinking that it's not important for you, I guarantee you it is important to you. It matters more to you than it does to the guys going really fast. And that's not my opinion, that's just science. So chin up, keep training, keep being awesome, and we'll see you in the next one.